How are leading tech minds in the region looking into the idea of tech implementations? Let's kick off the conversation. Joining us up here on the stage for this next segment, please welcome the Group CIO of GMG. It is Vishal Kapil. Also joining us, the Chief Operating Officer, the COO of Jackie's Retail, Ashish Punjabi. The Group Head of Information Technology and Digital Transformation, the CIO at Barakat Group of Companies, is Jayaraj Parimal. Kartik Bhatt is the Chief Digital Officer of Sony MECL. Sabina Mirza Akhmedova is the Chief Operating Officer of Mappable. And Rashid Labrik is the Vice President of Slimstock. So welcome to each and every one of our panelists. As to who will be guiding them, our moderator for this session is the Regional Sales Director for the Mesta region for Zebra Technologies. Please welcome Hazaifa Sailawala to the stage to moderate this particular panel for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. And we have been allocated 30 minutes, and we will try and do justice to those 30 minutes to provide you valuable insights in terms of thought leadership and in terms of what these organizations are doing to tackle the new age customers and the technology needs around it. But before I invite the panelists to give their views, we are all sitting in this room, and somewhere within us is a consumer. We are all new age consumers here. So would any one of you like to share your experience, how your shopping habit has changed pre-COVID and post-COVID? Anyone? No? Are you all old customers, not the new customers?
So I was thinking the most common change or the biggest change which most of us would have observed is that earlier we were more of store shoppers, but COVID brought this trend of online shopping. Even in our business, we have seen this significant increase in the trend of online shoppers during the COVID period. And some of them has continued even after COVID is over. So that's why even in our numbers, e-com contribution has gone up, but this is one big pattern in the change in the customer behavior. Second thing, which was, I think, also called out in one of the previous presentations, was that even if a customer go to the store, we will first surf online and then we go, or reverse, that way. Plus, customer has become very digitally very savvy. They evaluate many options before they go and buy. A lot of shopping is even happening on, the platforms, market platforms, and even direct-to-consumer shopping has also gone up. So some of those things.
Right, thank you. I think that thought quite summarizes the trends that we are seeing. So first of all, the consumers are more and more online, which means they have a lot more information before they decide to come to your store or to your omni-channel store in whichever format they can. And second, because they are so well informed, that puts a lot of pressure back on the retailers to be able to cater to the need of this new well-informed customer. So, keeping that in mind, I would like to ask first question here to our panelist, Rashid. Rashid, your organization works with all the retailers or a lot of retailers in the region. And because you have retailers of different formats talking to you, whether it's a grocery retailer, a fashion retailer, DIY, each one of them comes to you with their specific business challenge that they're looking for a business outcome in managing this new age customer. So you hear a lot of definitions of these new age customers from different perspectives. Will you be able to summarize what does it really look like for you as a technology provider in terms of your definition of new age customer?
Thanks, Huzaifa. It's actually a very interesting development for the past 14 years when you look at the consumers, how they buy and interact with the product. So if you look at different formats of retail, there are some common characteristics across all those formats that defines basically the new age customer. And those characteristics can be, probably if I would like to summarize them in three. The first one is omni-channel customer experience and user experience. The second one is sustainability and circularity. The third one is basically global shoppers. I can double click on each one of them. So omni-channel user experience and customer experience. So consumers today, they are looking for a seamless experience across devices, across touch points. For example, you can go buy a product on the store, you want it to be delivered at home. You can buy online and you want it to be delivered, to pick it up on the store. So you are actually thinking to have the same experience, whatever the touch point is. The second one is about sustainability and circularity. So today, we are all aware of the environment challenges, right? So we all, when we go consume a product, we are always thinking about whether this product, where it is sourced, whether it is sourced in a sustainable way. So there are a lot of more and more, there are more awareness, probably more in Europe we see this than in this region. One of the examples is, so I just came to Dubai 4 weeks ago. So I am to actually talk to the different customers here. So I was based in Europe. And in Europe, I'm a big fan of coffee. I probably drank, I don't know how many, 6 coffees by now. So in Europe, so when I was drinking my coffees, I was very aware of the capsules. The capsules need to be recycled. So what Nespresso did, they actually looked at this problem and they solved it. And the way they solved it is either you can drop the capsules in the supermarket to be recycled, or they can be picked up from home, or you can put them in the bag, and then there is a recycling, basically boxes dedicated for it. And I think more and more this will come also to the Middle East, where people will push the brands to actually be more sustainable and to have a plan and model for circularity. And the last one is global shoppers. So from a characteristic perspective. So global shoppers, I was in Paris 4 weeks ago. I had an experience with different brands, for example, Nespresso. So today, as a consumer, my expectation, I am expecting the same level as in France. And we are all travelers. So when we go to some other part of the world, we'll be expecting the same experience. So now brands need to think that we will have our consumers in this market, but we will also have consumers in other markets coming, and they have some expectations. So those are common characteristics across different formats. Sustainability, circularity, omnichannel user experience and customer experience. Last one, global journey. If you want, I can actually double-click on each format, because in each format, you will have different characteristics that are not common, but we can probably do it afterwards if you want.
Yeah, I think you have summarized it quite well, and maybe we can go into details once we have the views of the other panelists. Interesting, you spoke about sustainability. You gave example of Nespresso. You spoke about global customer, where a customer expects the same look and feel, no matter where they are. And one of the brands that I can think of that does that is McDonald's, because I know McDonald's, specifically in France, started their plastic cutleries to be tagged with RFID, because they're going through recycling process, so their plastic cutlery could be used for 5 cycles or 10 cycles before they need to be disposed of. So instead of having disposable cutleries, you recycle them, and they do that using RFID tracking technology. Now, for McDonald's, the customer gets the same experience. You walk into McDonald's in Dubai, in Paris, in New York, kind of same experience there. Since we are talking about McDonald's, and we are, interestingly, getting close to the lunchtime as well, one of the things that we do see now is when we order food online, we all want to track our last mile delivery agent, because we are so super hungry that the minute we have ordered the food, our expectation is it needs to be there in 15 minutes. And some of the pizza companies do a fantastic job by guaranteeing that your pizza will be delivered in 20 minutes or it comes free. Sabina, the question to you. These kind of expectations that are there with the new age customers, how are they defining it? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, thanks. So we are, as a company, because we're providing maps and navigation APIs and other solutions, we're in a quite unique position to talk about customers and new age customers, because we have our direct customers as logistics company, deliveries companies, and all of the retailers, FMCGs, and so on. But then also we have end user customers, and we're trying to cater to both of their needs. And that's why we need to look very closely about their new age characteristics. And what we can say that all of them, the two groups, are becoming more and more demanding in terms of what they want, because they all want know their worth. And they're actually in a position to require better solutions, better services, and all of that. So for example, the logistics companies, they don't just want the navigator for their drivers. They want to choose the exact roads for them. They want to choose the exact gas stations for them. They want to choose the exact stops for their drivers to sleep, and they want to be in control of that. So they want power, basically, of that. But what you've said about the food, this is also a very good example, and this is something that we all can share. Because when we, as customers, just as people, when we come home and when we're hungry and we still want to multitask because we just came from home, we still need to spend time with our families and our kids, we need to wash, we need to clean, we need to do something. We also need to order groceries, or we need to order pizza to feed ourselves or our families at the end of a very long day. And we need to track the actual courier who's going to deliver that, because we want to calculate our time for other tasks. And we did that estimation with a delivery company, and it said that after ordering something online, 80% of the people check the location of the courier, because they are very picky about that, and they want to know where he is or where she is, because they want to plan their time. Even if it's a same-day delivery, 1-hour delivery, 15-minute delivery, they also want to be in control of what's gonna happen next. And I think that my main point here is both customers and end users, they want to be in control of what's going on.
Thank you, Sabina. It does make sense. I think on the food delivery side, we have nailed it. I mean, at least I do see a lot of food delivery companies able to show me where my food courier is. But actually, the courier companies on the logistics side is still a long way to go. Even today, when my bank documents are being delivered to me, I get a 4-hour window. So I have to ensure I'm at my home for those 4 hours, because if they don't see me or they don't see my ID, they don't deliver my bank documents to me. So yeah, that's a long way to go on that front. But thank you for sharing that thought. Next view from you, Vishal. We are talking about the new age customer, and your company specifically addresses a segment which is becoming very popular. We are seeing a lot of news these days from Saudi Arabia, especially that they're signing all the football legends, inviting the clubs to play. The new age customer from the sports perspective. There are the way you tap into them, because this generation is very different. One is, the generation, I'm not saying we are old, but we have come through a transition phase. But the new generation that your brand associates with, what kind of technology innovations you think are essential to tap into those? And are there some ROI or impactful ROI numbers that you can share with the audience?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me for this panel, and your question is very apt. Let me introduce the company I represent. I represent GMG, which is a global well-being company interested in retail, distribution, well-being, healthcare, and grocery, everyday goods. So we are a multi-category player. Your question is around one of the categories we are in. I would say that there are multiple customer cohorts that exist, especially for lifestyle and sports. It's a very young cohort from heart, not by the age, okay? Because everyone, if you see the running as a category and different games and fitness, people of all age groups are doing more and more. So hence, it's injustice to talk about just one cohort. That's point number one. Number two, see, the customer is, irrespective of the age group, one big change that has happened, they are always on internet. Okay. It is utility, but it's an always on utility. And while people are doing multiple things, people are looking for the behavior that is currently today is for that thumb-stopping moment. You know, it's people are on a continuous, as if they are turning the beads, you know. So it's that, so the content per se is very powerful. And the way content is created by so many people and the role of AI, we can talk about that for the entire day, okay? So there is a lot that is happening. But my view, and your second question was the ROI. See, in technology, when you think of investments in technology, you don't invest for today. You invest for future. So you need to be clear that where your customer cohort is moving. And you need to envision. And where things are moving, which markets you are entering as a company, where all, what products, how the product and the service roadmap will shape up. And then you say, okay, fine, this is what we need to do. And we need to do in such a manner that my ROI around growth metric and my retention metric is met. Okay, if you exceed, very good, because building scale is very difficult and retaining customers is all the more difficult. Okay, so the simple ROI metric that I define from a tech perspective is that I will only spend money if I am retaining customer, or by that initiative I am helping company to grow. It's a customer equation I am addressing. The second is, am I meeting the compliance? Yes or no? The third is the efficiency topic. If it's not meeting any of these three criteria, I will not put my money on that. Very simple, but if we start talking about this in such a simple manner to board members and other stakeholders in the company, everyone understands this language. So my only request in your question is, everyone need to understand the context of the area in which their company is playing, and what could be that simple ROI that everyone can track.
Thank you, Vishal. So I think if we were to summarize what you just said, it's growth by retention, retaining the customer loyalty, and then driving growth. So these are the two big impactful areas that you would be looking at getting the ROI response in terms of the initiatives.
Let me give a phrase. Retention is a new acquisition. Okay, and growing new and getting new customers is lovely to have.
Interesting. I think that just leads me to a question that I've been talking to Ashish about, because from customer loyalty perspective, we were having a conversation on utilization of some of the CRM tools, and how the CRM tools are shaping up. In first, to address the need of the customer, where we have relevant information and data of our stakeholders, but also the data that is internal. Whereas we work in an environment which is a collaborative environment, you as a retailer is operating with a mall owner. The mall owner runs their own CRM systems, they have their own database. How do we make these two pieces of information interact and talk to each other so that you get a very meaningful insight into the customer acquisition process? And Ashish, I think you are in progress at this point of time, looking at some sort of a a CRM tool which allows you to have that collaboration between internal and external data points. Would you want to throw some light on that?
No, thank you for that. So I was talking to someone last week, and he's also a business owner, and we were talking about recruitment. And he said something quite interesting. He said, the first person you hire for a position will probably be the wrong person. The second person will probably be the right one. Because you need to go through the process of that one person to understand what you actually needed from that position the second time around. And I think when we talk about technology, when we talk about implementations like this, a lot of it is the same. The one change that's come in is we can work on an OpEx model, we can work on a DaaS model, we can work on a model where we're paying per month, per user, per license, instead of that huge moat of a huge CapEx acquisition cost that was there earlier. Now, the ideas are internal. The implementation is what makes you successful. And I think we're moving to a stage where even with the same product, everyone can make it their own implementation and make it successful in their own right. And someone said it on an earlier panel as well, that the same product doesn't work for everyone. It's not one size fits all. I think Vic had that in his keynote this morning. And it's the same thing when we talk about this. Now, in our case, we're going through a process of a CRM implementation right now. And we looked at it, we said, okay, online is always at the advantage in terms of the data points they've had. But we've been retailers for years. We've also got from our online platforms, yes, data, but we've also had data within the physical retail stores. But we haven't actually managed to integrate all of that in there. So you look at that marriage that comes in, and you look at what you can do with that in terms of opportunities. Because again, as a retailer, we need to be where the customer is. The customer is in the mall, he's in your store, but she's also online. And they're also on the marketplaces. And we need to be exactly where the customer is, and this is where this data comes in to help us navigate and understand that customer in terms of what they need and what they want. So whether it means in terms of service, loyalty, marketing, you take care of all of that. There was another interesting conversation I was in last week where one of the major owners of a loyalty program over here said, and they run it with a lot of the malls over here, they said, retailers were scared to give us data. Retailers were scared to give us data, so we implemented a loyalty program as a mall. So we capture the data anyway. Now, as a mall, they've got a much richer database sitting with them because they understand that customer across the entire mall. How many visits they came in, what they shopped, where they shopped, what other categories they look at. And they go, loyalty doesn't mean your own loyalty. It means collaborating with other loyalty programs and taking advantage of what's out there. Because we're all in a connected ecosystem as retailers as well. We work with banks, we work with other loyalty programs, ISAD, Alsada, etc. You work with the U-by-Imar or MAFShare and whatever else. And you look to see what can you do together with that and link that into your CRM to take advantage of where you could be with your customer. Because your own data will be limited to what you can do. What you can do when you start to collaborate is a lot more effective. And I think this is a lot of where we're moving into from a mindset perspective. So the technology is one. But now when you think of it from an ROI perspective, and when you think of the fact that you can switch platforms much easier than you could earlier, it's not about ROI, it's about now you going out there and doing what's best for you.
So Ashish, in this environment, so you rightly spoke the need to have a collaborative approach. So when you have approached the external parties to share that data and towards a common objective, how has the reception been? Are the other external parties receptive and willing to look at a program that commonly benefits the retailers as well as the mall operators?
The ones that understand will do it.
But that's an increasing trend? Are you seeing that change happening?
It is. It is. And I think they realize it as well. See, end of the day, as a mall owner, as a credit card company, etc., They want to see transactions. And anything that gets them closer to a transaction, anything that gets a customer in to buy is what they want. And whether you buy through the mall's online channel, through a marketplace that's come in, through whatever else, they all want to see that at the end of the day. We're all in the same race. So why swim against each other?
Understand. No, thank you for sharing that insight, Ashish. I think, when we start sharing that information, you start getting visibility to a lot of data points. And having that visibility, as you rightly said, the mall operator would have much more richer data than what you would be capturing, with your in-house customers. And what it leads to is actually what we call, in technology terms, end-to-end visibility, because it tells you the customer's buying behavior, not only their behavior inside your store, but then outside your store, which could then, translate into some meaningful insights for you to drive your targeted campaign towards those customers. So if we talk about visibility, I think, Jairaj, I will ask you this question, and while I'm sure a lot of people in this room will relate to your products, I consume your company's products on a daily basis, especially the food produce, and simply because from the time I started looking at healthy lifestyle, I started looking at which is the most freshest food available on the shelf, right? And if you walk into a hypermarket, whether you're walking into a GMG supermarket or MF supermarket or any of those, you will always see your products. You guarantee farm to table 48 hours. And then you speak about sustainable products and reducing carbon footprints. Now, somewhere where we looked at the definition of the new age customers, we do see that these are some of the asks that are increasing from the customers. I saw that change in my own lifestyle post-COVID. How do you see this demand from the new age customers and the steps that your company has taken to meet those demands? And could you share with us some of those data points in terms of the impact that it has made?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you so much, still awake, listening our conversation in the lunch break. Who are the new age customers? It's a very good question that we started the panel, and we have a good answer also came from many of you. It's we. We are the new age customers. And we know online shopping, and we know we are aware of sustainability, we are aware of food safety, we are aware of locally grown produces, fresh, health and safety, wellness, everything. We are not just you mean that pre-COVID customer, we just buy only based on pricing, right? So we see a lot. So post this pandemic, it teaches us online shopping. Earlier also there were people buying online shopping, but not this scale. So they used to buy some electronics or some products which is not locally available, they go online. But now people ordering their breakfast, their lunch, their dinner. Now there is a new trend started, it is late night dinner, midnight biryani or something. So we are more widely adopting to online. So companies all around the world, they are more investing online shopping platform and providing an omni-channel experience. So we don't want only online. We want to order online and pick up from nearby store. So we need convenience. So who are against convenience here? Every one of us want more and more convenience. So the companies like, anyone, they are actually more concentrating on not only providing online experience, more convenience. And we want our products is locally grown. It is fresh. We don't want actually some thousands or odd kilometers traveled all over the world, not in the containers of reaching a month or two products. We want fresh. So we at Barakat, so we do work on with government agencies and local farmers to provide you the freshest produce locally grown within 100 miles. That also farm to table within 48 hours, as rightly said in the form. So these are all the new convenience actually people are looking for, and we are more health conscious. So we don't want to eat something. So we want whatever we take, that should be beneficial for our health, not only health. Now there is a new trend is started. Actually, there are beauty products. I'm not talking about cosmetics. I'm talking about the food and beverages. So there are there are beauty range is in Barakat. And we do have more conscious on local food safety. So this pandemic, and there are more, the situation is happening in the supply chain. There are a lot of disturbance in the supply chain. There are war, there are issues. So we are not getting producers on time. So more and more customers as well as companies, they are focusing on local food safety, sustainability. So we are trying to grow the products within our country borders itself. And what else? There are much more. We want the products, whatever we consume, we want to know where it is produced, in what kind of agriculture practice. Is it sustainable practice or it is unorganic? So we are very much conscious. So then whatever demands coming from new age customers, it is been honored, and actually we are working towards fulfilling all our customer demand. And in Barakat and many of the companies here, so we see our customers, not just customers, our customers is a stakeholder, our customers is our co-innovator, and they are setting the requirements. So we are closely working towards fulfilling all our customers' dreams and demands. Thank you.
Thank you, Jairaj. I will take that statement with your quote, which says your customers are actually setting the new age requirements. So my final question to you, Karthik, you have been sitting quiet, listening, observing, and with your vast experience across multiple brands, various brands, there is a gap, and there is a technology that is needed to bridge the gap with the renewed needs and aspirations of the new age customers. Karthik, what I'm looking here is your thought leadership. How, what technology, and how is it bridging the gap?
Thank you. It's a devil's advocate position. I'm the only one now sitting between lunch and the rest of the people in this room. So if I don't do it in less than 180 seconds, I'm sure somebody's going to take objections. I think my experience at Sony has just been about a week. I'll go back to my experience at Sharaf Retail, where I spent 7 years building fashion brands and lifestyle brands. In my journey as a CEO and then as a CIO and a CDO, I've always believed technology continues to be an enabler. It only drives business success. Execution of a technology platform or a solution doesn't necessarily guarantee success at any level. I've seen multiple tech implementations across businesses have failed even after building in probably one of the best solution providers with the best SI integrators, but not getting the consumer mindset and the understanding right. And hence tech implementation done with a very strong consumer mindset, consumer insight behind it is what has worked. Give you some examples of Forever 21, one of our fashion brands that I used to run in Adventure HQ. We keep talking about consumers change, consumers change. The paradox that I live in is a woman orders a dress at 8:30 in the morning and she wants it to be delivered to her doorstep for an evening gala dinner. That's the level of expectation that a customer has from you. A guy buys a bike and then he wants you to remember, because he's bought a 30,000 dirham bike, that his bike needs to be serviced. On that day, he wants you to be at his doorstep, pick up the bike, service, and deliver it before the next day's ride. Your customer today doesn't want to go through 45 different blues or 25 different maroons on the website. He wants you to know what product, what color, what size does the customer want. And hence your technology is dovetailed around personalization, around recommendation engine, around getting your searches right, getting your journeys right. Imagine, let's say I'm a camping customer. You come to an Adventure HQ website. There are 28,000 camping products available. You're going to make a miserable situation out for me. What the customer wants is a pure intent-driven journey, something similar to what a Style Fix has done, which is about asking the right questions, and in the first 3 questions, creating a solution that a customer can go away as a solution sales purchase happily by creating a kit list and a bundle for him. The intent-driven journey that what a Best Buy, or maybe for that matter, even somebody like an Airbnb has done, is what we've tried replicating in the business, and we started seeing success. Success came in terms of, when you say ROI, ROI is a misnomer today because there are different matrices of using ROI. And different people use ROI in a different manner. If I was a venture-funded business, I wouldn't care much about an ROI. I would only care about, am I a differentiator? Am I democratizing technology? And am I the first one in the market? But the challenge with that itself is technology life cycle, which typically used to be 16 weeks, came down to 8 weeks, came down to 4 weeks. Today, it's 24 hours. 24 hours, your algorithms on search, your algorithms on SEO, your algorithms on your K9 and Amazon changes. So what you used to do yesterday is no longer relevant. And hence, if you build it insight-driven, your chances of success are very high. So I don't want to take much of everybody's time, but that's a success we have seen in Forever 21. That's a success we have seen in Adventure HQ, where revenue grew, stickiness grew, acquisition costs came down, retention increased significantly, and more importantly, the learning relationship that you build with the shopper by creating a convergence of product, service, experience, and community. Community has become a very strong element in purchases these days. It's more or less about social shopping, community shopping. I want to know what he's been buying, where did he buy from, can I get a feed and can I buy along with him? That level of differentiation through technology is what drives the incremental ROI in the business.
Thank you, Karthik. Very, very interesting points there, right? With all the influencers that are influencing customers' mindset, that you rightly pointed out, the algorithms change, by the hour, simply because the customer mindset is changing, and that is really the truth in terms of how do you stay ahead of that game so that you're constantly delivering to what the customer needs. Thank you for that. I think, Karthik, you have another statement?
I was reading an internet post this morning about a group of people in the UK who have gone against the idea of a cashierless shopping. The world has been talking about a cashierless shopping. I've got friends here who build solutions around cashierless shopping and online shopping in the stores. But there's a group of people who would say, it's your job, you're supposed to be doing it. Are you paying me to do that? Now, that's a change in the consumer mindset. A tech company or a retailer would say, I've created a cashierless store. The world is happy seeing it. But there's going to be a consumer who says, I don't care much about it, man. I need my products. Make it available to me. So that change in consumer mindset is about one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work in this space any longer.
That was a brilliant example. Thank you for sharing that, Karthik. I wasn't aware. I'm going to look up for this group because I think it makes sense to have cashiers in the store. All right. I think we are running out of time. We would have loved to take questions from the audience, but I think, where are the organizers? We have another panel already waiting. So all the panelists are here to interact with you after this session or during the lunch break, so please feel free to walk up to them and ask any questions that you would like to. Thank you very much for patiently listening to us. Thank you. Thank you, panelists.